Hello guys, welcome back to another episode in Android application development tutorial series. So in this episode here I'm going to show you how to setting logical parent for an activity. So if there are number of activities are available in an Android application, the user has to click the back button again and again to reach the home activity. For example, here I'm going to use the same example that we used in the last video. So in our Hello World application, on the main activity we have an edit text. So you can put some message here, and if the user click the send message button, here we open another activity and we display the message here. So in this application we have two activity, the main activity and another activity. So here if the user wants to go back to the main activity, the user needs to click the back button. Suppose if there are number of activities are present in an application, in such case the user needs to click the back button again and again to go back to the main activity. So that is affect the overall user experience of your application. So if there are number of activities are present, the only solution for this problem is you can specify logical parent for each activity. So if you specify logical parent for each activity, the user can directly move it to the main activity instead of clicking the back button again and again. So here in this application here we already have two activity, the main activity and a message activity. So here I'm going to create one more activity. So right click the application folder and select a new activity, select an empty activity. So here I name the activity as final activity. So here is the layout name, activity final, and click finish. So here Android Studio create the new activity. Here is the Java class. Here is the layout for the newly created activity. So now here I'm going to add some text view to identify this activity. So first select the design surface and change that one into blueprint. Now here I'm going to place a text view. So select text and drag a text view and drop it inside the layout. Now we can specify the constraints for the text view. Specify a constraint at left side, specify a constraint at the right side, specify constraint at the top. So here I'm going to change the margin at the top. Now change the width of this layout into match constraint. Now select the text view. Align the text at the center. Now make it bold. Okay. Also here I'm going to change the text size into 24 sp. Now we can display some message on this text view. So we need to add a new string resource. So open values folder, open strings.xml, add a new string resource. So open editor, add a new string resource, final activity message. Specify default value for the text view. Welcome to final activity. Now we can set this resource on the layout file. So go back to activity final.xml. Select the text view again. Here we can change the text on the text view. Here it is, final activity, welcome to final activity. Okay, here we change the message into welcome to final activity. Now we can check the design, change that one into design. Okay, so now I'm going to place a button on the second activity. So here I'm going to close all these files, close all. Now select project. Now here I'm going to open the message activity, that is the second activity. Now open the layout for the message activity, activity message. So here I'm going to place a button into this layout. So again open blueprint. Now here I'm going to place a button. So drag a button, drop it inside the layout. Now we can specify the constraint for the button. Okay, now change the margin at the top side into 32 dp. Now we can change the text on the button. So for that here I'm going to add one more text attribute, one more text resource. So open strings.xml, open editor, add a new string resource. First we have to specify key for the button. Here I'm going to specify the key as final activity button. Now specify the default value. Open final activity. Okay, now go back to the layout file. Now we can specify the text on the button, so select the button. Now change the resource for the text. Here it is, final activity button. Open final activity. Okay, now we can check the design. Now we can specify an on-click method for the button, so select that button. Now find out the on-click method. Here it is. I specify the method as open final activity. Okay, so now here Android Studio shows some error because we have to define that method inside the activity class. So go back to the XML version. So here is the on-click method for the button. Here Android Studio shows some error because this method is not available on the activity class. So you can define this method in activity class. So there is an easy method. So click the method, press Alt Enter in your keyboard. Now you can select this option, create that method in message activity. So now Android Studio automatically add the method for us. Now from this method, here I am going to start the newly created activity. So here I am going to start the new activity in a single statement. So call the method start activity. So this method need one parameter, is an indent object. So for this indent constructor, it needs two parameters. First one is a context. Second one is the name of the target activity class name. So here the target activity class name is final activity dot class. So like this, you can start a new activity in a single statement. Okay, now the project is ready. Now we can test our project. So now the virtual device is ready. Now here I am going to test the application on this virtual device. Okay, now we can run the application. Click the run button, select the virtual device. Now here the application available on this virtual device. Here I am going to enter some message and click the send message button. So here we reach the second activity. Now here I am going to open the third activity. So this is the final activity. So if the user wants to go back to the launcher activity, that means the main activity, here the user need to click the back button 2 times. So if the number of activity increase, the user need to press the back button again and again to reach the main activity. So that is not a good thing. So we have to add some shortcut for the user to directly go back to the home activity. So you can easily make that one by simply specify some logical parent for each activity in your application. So open manifest file, open Android manifest.xml. So here we have 3 activity. So this is the application element. So in the application element we have 3 activity. So this is the main activity, that is the launcher activity. This is our second activity and this is the third activity. So here main activity is the launcher activity. That means the main activity is the logical parent for these 2 activities. So here I am going to specify the logical parent inside the activity tag. So you need to specify some attribute called parent activity name into main activity. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the last activity. Okay. So if your application support API level 15 or lower, then you need to specify some metadata to specify the logical parent. This is only for API level 15 and lower version. So now I'm going to specify the same thing for the second activity also. Okay, now we can test our application again. Okay, now the application available on this virtual device. Type some message. Now go to the second activity. So here on the application bar, here you can see an up navigation button is present. So if you specify a logical parent for an activity, the Android system will automatically place an up navigation button on the application bar. So the user can directly move it to the main activity. So now here I am going to go to the third activity. Now here I am inside the third activity. Now I want to go to the home page, the launcher activity. So I can simply go back to the home activity by clicking the up button on the application bar. Now try to enter some message. Now here is the second activity. Now instead of click the back button, I can directly move it to the launcher activity or main activity. So this is how we specify the logical parent for activity in your Android application. I hope you understand all these concepts. For getting more Android tutorial updates, please subscribe this channel now. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.